I'm Pops, and we're going to talk about the Fablemans. The Fablemans, the Fablemans. It's getting some buzz. It's got some nominations under its belt. It will probably be in conversation for the Oscars as well. Thought I'd give it a whirl. Let's find out what this is all about and whether or not it's a good fit for you or not. So, spoilers abound as usual. We're not going to hold anything back. So, if you don't want spoilers, feel free. Um, Here's my little short pitch. Imagine a love letter to yourself so your friends can tell you how great you are. That's kind of how I felt. It's like it's not even disguised that Spielberg is making a movie about his life that paints him in a great light. Like it's clearly showing his parents and going through difficult times and struggles, and particularly his mom and his passion for filmmaking and some different things that actually happened in his life and didn't. That's pretty much how the film plays out. Now, I'm shocked that the film would at least try to pretend to be for mass audiences because it's a very kind of bland drama compared to like Bridge of Spies, which I think has like a mass consumption. Like I think, a film like that, the mass audiences are going to like. Whereas something like this, it's very nuanced and specific that it's really not for most. There's really no action. It's just a household family drama and conflict ensues in different points. There are some great moments, like Michelle Williams is a great performance. There's an amazing scene where there's not a lot of dialogue. She's playing the piano. There's a couple of great cinematography shots. All of that is great. Paul Dano plays his dad. Now, the character's name is Sammy. It's Steven Spielberg, right? So the dad and the mom are played by Michelle Williams and Paul Dano. I will say Judd Hirsch was probably one of the more memorable moments. I'm not even sure he has enough screen time to warrant a Best Supporting Oscar, but his scene is fantastic. It's really a powerful scene. So it takes a long time to get to some interesting stuff about, the family stuff kind of unpacks itself, of how the dynamics work and how he kind of goes to see a movie and he's really blown away. And then he borrows a camera and films a model train and kind of reenacts this train crashing, those kinds of things. And of course, like I said, Judd Hirsch plays his uncle, and the uncle had been in the circus and went to Hollywood. So they have like this passion and love for entertainment, and he gets really physical and aggressive with Sammy, and it was fine. Judd Hirsch was good. Like I don't know, it's an okay film. It's just like so. The twist of the story and the conflict arises because Sam is asked. Okay, back up. Michelle Williams, the mom, her mom dies, so Sammy's grandma dies, and Michelle Williams is devastated. And they had gone on a camping trip and they had filmed some stuff, and the dad asked him to set aside your plans for your next film, make a video for your mom. And when he's cutting and editing this camping trip, he realizes that his mom is having an affair with the family friend, which is the dad's best friend, right? And the conflict arises because Sammy's like, I won't tell. And she's an awful person. I'm really sorry. I mean, I can embrace Michelle's performance, but she's cheating on the dad. Dad's a cool dude. He's like a nerd. He's trying to make a living. She makes a comment about something that she does, and he just buys her gifts. He tries to make amends. He's so good to her, but it's not enough. She has to have more. She's got to have this. I gotta be honest. His name is Benny. Benny's played by Seth Rogen. It's not as though Benny is like a biker dude, or it's just like he's just another nerd. And yeah, I don't know. It was anyway. The fact that Michelle Williams' character is always played as a victim is very strange, and the story tries to stay on Sammy because they go through this process. They're going to be divorced. But the divorce scene was great. The divorce scene was powerful because the kids were so devastated and emotional. Like there's a sister scene where she's screaming and ranting and raving. It was great, great. When Sammy gets a girlfriend, like a Christian girl, there's like this prayer makeout scene and stuff. Like I'm not sure I understand what works and doesn't work for people. Like for me, it doesn't work at all. But again, it's a little too close to my faith, so I don't know if I'm just taking offense to it or not. Um, There are good moments that Spielberg specifically had Sammy do. Like there's clearly like this Last Crusade scene, Indiana Jones Last Crusade, where the Boy Scouts they're doing their scene. There's clearly like a soldier scene with like Private Ryan. But Michelle Williams' character is so narcissistic. She is so selfish that she hits Sam at one point about the affair. And she says something later when they're trying to make amends about guilt is a wasted emotion. I wrote that down. And I thought to myself, no, it's not. You don't have any shame or guilt. You're cheating on this guy who treats you well. He takes care of your kids. He's not a horrible human. And guilt is a waste. What are you talking about? Like, it's so... I mean, I guess this is real life, and this is how brutal and bad it gets. And because it's set so long ago, it's supposed to be like a reflection of how time hasn't changed. This stuff's always gone on. And I'm like, yeah, but back then they kind of get a wake-up call and not behave that way. But I guess in real life, Spielberg's parents got divorced and whatever. So that's fine. It's just, I don't know. Paul Dano was great. He kind of plays the beta male nerd and pulls that off really, really well. Judd Hirsch has a good scene. The kid that plays Sammy's fine. And there's an amazing sort of like tag on scene where Sammy goes to the studio to meet a guy. Anyway, he says, you should meet John Ford. And because it's like a Hogan Heroes thing, he's meeting at Paramount. You should meet John Ford. He's right across the hall, right? And you have this little David Lynch as John Ford scene about the horizon. It's a great way to end the movie. But it feels almost tagged on because the tone of it all doesn't even match what we've been going through. So here's the thing. If you love filmmaking and you would want to kind of better understand how someone like Spielberg got into filmmaking, fine. It's not unbearable or bad or anything. It's a good film, but it's being elevated in a category it doesn't deserve. I don't think that Spielberg deserves a Best Director award. He didn't do anything that spectacular with this. I don't get it. I really don't. The cinematography has a couple of scenes and shots that are done well. Paul Dano was fine. I mean, everyone is really good. Michelle Williams would be a Best Actress nomination. I can see that. I got nothing else. I got, maybe some other elements of the film are really, really strong and positive, but it's not like it's a film that you want to rewatch. It's a very heavy-handed drama about a family torn apart in divorce because the mom cheats on the dad and she's kind of a mental case. Like they get a monkey, which is based on a true story, right? Spielberg's family actually had a pet monkey, but maybe in real life that translates well. In the movie, it just feels like a crazy behavior. Like you should be institutionalized. Like what the heck have you brought home a monkey for? Like you've been behaving crazy, and now we have a monkey. I'm like, dude, woman, go to your room. Like what the heck? It's like, I don't know. Liked it. Understand why it's getting attention and awards. Can't recommend it as much as I can other Spielberg films that are rewatchable. Like I have no desire to sit down and sit through this again. It's not the worst thing in the world, but there's nothing special about it that makes me want to recommend or watch it again. Bridge of Spies was probably the best film I can recommend. I can think like, well, it's kind of like this heavy drama, a lot of dialogue, but at least it had intrigue and some interesting elements. You know what I mean? This doesn't, I don't know. It didn't do that for me. It didn't have anything that really grabbed me and made me want to rewatch it, really engage in it at a next level or anything like that. And I really wasn't that impressed with sort of like the origin story of Spielberg to elevate it to this thing. Like I said, it's like a love letter to himself. He's almost admitting, he's like, I made this he's trying to say, oh, I made it for my parents. I promised my parents we'd talk about it. I guess the dad wrote a book or something. Some of this is based on that book. But let's face it, it's Spielberg. Why would you farm it out to someone else? Produce the movie and let someone else direct it. So at least there's a little buffer zone. I don't know. It felt very contrived at times too. I don't know. I'm probably being way too hard on it because it is a good film, but it's not the great film that they're making it out to be, in my opinion. No, tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think. That's all.
I'm Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem.